Hello everyone, this is Ms. Karastov, aka Skullmeeting98, and with this cluster cuss of what's going on in the world, we all need something to alleviate tensions and whatnot. So, since I am a story writer, I decided to read you the first chapter of one of my stories. Now I know my buddy, StorytellerBJFultz has done the same not too long ago, so I'll do the same. Today, I will be telling you the tales of the Troubled Youth Battalion, written and read by Skullmeeting98, aka me. Chapter 1, New Recruit Day. The class of 2017 were buzzing with euphoria, happiness, nervousness, and excitement, and I am one of them, sitting with the other kids whose last names starts with N like mine. I wait. I look over to see my Nona and Zia, smiling. I know my dad and brothers are here. The basilica was so full, they're outside. At last, it's my turn. I happily approach to receive my diploma. Just as I am to shake hands with the principal, beep, 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 a loud and annoying buzzer went off. I jolt upwards in shock before collapsing back into bed. Piss off, I hiss bitterly as I slam a button to turn off the buzzer. I pick up my phone. Time said 1:05 a.m. Fuck, it's too early, I hiss out. I get out of bed regardless. My mind wanders for a moment about my dream. I shook my head. It doesn't matter. It isn't 2017. That was 15 years ago. It's 2032, and North America is fucked up right now. I walk over to my vanity and flick on the light for it. Looking into the mirror, I don't see an 18-year-old graduating from high school. I see a 33-year-old woman with long red hair, chocolate brown eyes that give off a hateful stare, a large figure, fair skin, and missing her right arm, aka me. Sorry. I grabbed my mechanical arm and attached it in place. I checked to make sure everything is in order by moving the fingers and wrists. Then I just threw on a shirt and my boots, because I was wearing pajama bottoms. I left my room to find the common area empty. Then I made my way to the door leading to the rest of the base. Opened that up, and I was on my way to wherever. The halls were devoid of life considering it was 1 a.m. That's a given. I looked around, sensing something. I stopped dead in my tracks and turned around. Hey, Blake, I said. Blake stepped out of the shadows. The first thing I saw of her was her yellow cat-like eyes. Not fully a cat, but just enough. She had long black hair that reached to the bottom of her back, pale skin, and a black bow on her head. She was dressed in her nightdress and slippers. At times, Blake tended to act like a cat. This was one of them, with Blake trying and failing to rub the sleep out of her eyes in a cat-like way. You too, huh? She asked me to mumble almost. I just nodded and motioned her to follow me. We walked for a bit more until we got to the stairs leading to the next floor, which were closed off for the night. So we sat on a bench. So what did you dream about, Blake? I asked Blake. I don't want to talk about it. What about you? My graduation back in 2017. Ah, at least it wasn't a nightmare. I nod. Then we heard footsteps. Well, if it ain't marshmallow and licorice, spoke a slightly slurred, raspy southern drawl. We look over as the figure approached. You bitches better not have set that goddamn buzzer off. I rolled my eyes. Jesse, if we wanted to wake you up, we would have blasted an air horn, I said with Blake and I. Jesse narrowed his eyes. He had a white button-up shirt, gold cufflinks, a red vest, a black duster tied around his shoulders like by the sleeves, dark blue pants, cowboy boots, a set of guns in a holster tied around his waist, and a light blue bolo tie, and a brown broad-brimmed hat held onto his neck by a stampede string. His skin was tan, as if he had spent most of his life in the bright sunlight, steely blue eyes and white hair that came up to spikes in the front. Watch your mouth, Jesse spat, leaning close to us. We cringed. Ugh, your breath stinks. How much booze did you drink? Enough that he drank himself asleep since he isn't wearing his sleepwear. Jesse gritted his teeth. Why, you little... To think these ruffians turned up, spoke a new voice, and our moods became sour. We watched as that god-forsaken bitch, Cordo, walked over to us, acting all high and mighty when she ain't in terms of height. It was you, wasn't it? I said hatefully. Yes, indeed. I am disappointed by this baseless lack of discipline. The next word she said while staring at me, and a bounty of those of less breeding. Bitch, if you're implying what I think you're implying, you're gonna be sorry. Curdle didn't seem fazed in the slightest. She simply shrugged and said, "What can you do to me?" she asked. Who was oozing out of her by this point. All three of us looked ready to kill. It's a peculiar thing of how anyone can expect you to do something when you're so retarded. Okay, she asked for it. I grabbed her by the neck. Before she finishes uttering out that god-awful slur, "You just crossed a fine line, lady," I said to her. Corda was looking a little scared. "I've been through hell. You're nothing but the price you've paid for disrespecting me and daring to use a slur." I held up my mechanical arm, and a sharp blade housed in the arm sprung forth. I held the blade close to her neck. There's a one-way ticket to hell. Corda wasn't looking so hot anymore. "Don't you dare!" she choked out of my grasp. "What will the others say?" "Kill her," Jesse and Blake responded in unison. "You heard the jury," I said, pulling back my arm, ready to gut her through. Then a strong hand grasped my arm gently. It was strong enough to keep me from killing Cordo. I glanced over to see who it was. Of fucking course, I knew it. It was my battalion commander. "Kaidi," he spoke with a sudden drawl. I let out an angry huff. Didn't deter him. Drop her. So I did as he said. My blade went away, and I tossed Cordo to the floor. And then I turned to look at him. He was tall. I guess 6'3". His hair was short, brown-gray hair. His face was grizzled. He clearly looked like he just got out of bed. The only thing he was wearing from his usual attire was his boots. Also, his right eye was covered by a strap of leather. He didn't look content about me tossing Cordo to the floor. "Kaidi, you said drop her, not put her down. I was doing what you asked." His face became one of, "I am too tired for this," as he rubbed his temples. "Kaidi, you know full well what I meant." Yeah. At this point, Corda had gone to her feet. "Commander William," she huffed out, "I will not tolerate your battalion's lack of discipline and respect." The commander looked at Corda with a, "Are you kidding me?" look. I ain't gonna tolerate you feeling like you need to wake up everyone in the base up. I was smirking at this. Jesse had a big grin on his face, no doubt reveling in Cordo being put in her place. Blake wasn't smiling, but I knew she was getting a kick out of it. But. Cordo tried to argue about it. "I'm done talking with ya. Come on, you three, back to bed," he said, turning away from Cordo, and all four of us left, with me and Jesse casually flipping the bird to Cordo. We walked back to where area was quiet, considering we were dead tired at this point. We entered. Sitting on one of the couches in the common area was a man a few years older than Jesse, with shorter, slightly more messy and scruffy hair and a scruffy beard. "Hey, bro," Jesse said, walking over to his brother as said brother stood up and stretched. "Any trouble finding them, Commander?" Jesse's brother asked. "If by trouble, Frank, you mean Katie bad to get Corda like a fish, then no," the commander said with some slight sarcasm. "Corda said the R word, didn't she?" Frank asked me. I gave a tired sigh and glared at Frank. "What do you think?" I shoved past him and headed into my room. I could hear Commander William saying he was going to call the High Commander about what happened, and everyone could sleep in late if they like. Good. I kicked off my boots, I took off my arm, I threw off the shirt, and climbed into bed and fell asleep. I didn't dream of anything. That's fine. Didn't want to anyway. "Kaidi, Kaidi," I heard a familiar sound drawl. I didn't care, just snuggled into my blankets more. "Piss off," I hissed out. "Come on, Kaidi, it's time to get up," the commander said, slightly tugging at my blankets. I tugged back. "Commander, go away. It's too early. Kaidi, it's 8:30 in the morning. The whole base slept in one. Besides, you get up at 6:35. Don't care. Go away. By this point, I was buried in my blankets. With a swift motion, I felt my blankets be ripped off of me. I opened one eye to Commander Williams standing over me. Well, he asked me. Fine, I'll get up and get ready. Thank you. With that, he left. I got up to do my routine. Showering was a part of it, because I do that at night. I put on my mechanical arm and brush up my hair and put it up in a ponytail. Put on my usual outfit, which is consisted of a long black t-shirt, blue jacket, brown pants, and brown boots. I went into my bathroom and brushed my teeth. Once I was done, I stepped out of my room and into the common area. I looked around it, seeing as there were now people in it. Blake was sitting on one of the couches reading one of her books. Jesse and Frank were having a chat with one another. Morning, guys, I said, the others gave me a morning back. Hey, do you know where Commander William is? And, no, I don't want to get up, came a voice with a pirate accent. Come on now, Foxy, I let you sleep in late, and you were the only one who didn't wake up at 1. Okay. And with that, Foxy came out with his clothing and his other stuff in his hand. Foxy was roughly around the same height as the commander. He had long red hair, which he was in the process of brushing it out and braiding it. His eye was yellow, though at times it seemed more black than yellow. I say eye because his right eye was covered by an eye patch. He started getting gross. He wore a white dress shirt with it opened around the neck area and with the sleeves were up. Over that was a red vest, which was left open, and one side had a huge tear in it. He says it makes him look more badass. I don't think so. He wore black pants, which after he belted up, tied a red sash around it. He wore brown boots that reached up to the top of his calves. He also had a hook for his right hands. Was it necessary to get dressed in front of us? I asked. His ears perked up. He looked over at me, his tail frizzling up a bit. He wasn't in a good mood. By the way, if you're wondering why does Foxy have ears and tail of a fox, simple. He's an animatronic. Shut up, he said. Just asking. Fine, I'm being petty, Foxy huffed as he crossed his arm. I don't think you do petty, Foxy, Frank said, having ceased his chat with Jesse. Yeah, pettiness is Coyote's things, especially in Uno, Jesse piped in, smiling at the mention of Uno. That's because you need to be petty in Uno, I said. Sure, Jesse said sarcastically all the while, with a shit-eating grin on his face. Okay, y'all. Commander William came into the common room area after momentarily ducking away into his bedroom to put himself together. Enough. Let's get some breakfast. And so we were all on our way to the cafeteria for breakfast. When we got there, it was full with the other battalions, each at their respective tables. We made a beeline for the line to get what we want. I loaded up on breakfast sausages, bacon, hash browns, pancakes, a toasted cheese bagel, and a couple grapes. I waited for a bit on Jesse before joining him to the other line, which consisted of all the other stuff associated with breakfast. Jesse picked up a box of powdered sugar covered donuts and a dozen donuts for the rest of us. I stepped into the kitchen, popped under the fridge to grab the pick-me-up drinks for me, Foxy, and Jesse. I sidestepped out of the way as Jesse came in for a carton of milk. We head back to our table where everyone else is. We sit in our spots and I hand out the pick-me-ups, which are a pop and a bottle of Jack Daniels. Not the healthiest choice in the morning, but it wakes up the more stubborn ones, me, Jesse, and Foxy. Commander Williams surveyed while we all wait and just seemed to shrug before eating some toast. Good morning, everyone. Time seemed to have slipped by because it was high time for the morning announcements. Courtesy of High Commander Osmond. He had short, gray-colored hair, emerald green eyes, a black suit with a green shirt underneath with a wide and loose collar, and a cane in one hand and his coffee mug in the other. I hope everyone had a good rest, despite the misconduct at 1 a.m., he said. It was quiet. In regard to that, what Corridor did was stepping major boundaries disrespectful to this space. I am in the process of seeing her dismissed from her duties as ambassador for the northernmost base, he said very sternly. This got a couple of cheers from some of the battalions, including us, and find a more respectful ambassador. And just like that, and just as quickly as the cheers came, loud groans erupted, and Foxy took it a step further. "Screw the northernmost base," he yelled, standing up even. "They be so uptight that you could stick a flagpole up there anyway." Osmond raised his voice to turn off Foxy, the commander covering Foxy's mouth as he shoved him down back into his seat. William wasn't content with what Foxy said, but it was the truth. "In other words," Osmond began after clearing his throat, "today is a good day because today is..." The realization of what today was hit everyone like a freight train. We all groaned. "New recruit day." "Great, there goes me good mood," Foxy growled. I personally had nothing against new recruit day. It was mainly because we hardly get new recruits. "I am aware this day is controversial, but in order to repair North America from damage of the Great Explosion caused," Osmond said. "Yeah, but who wanna be in the Psycho Battalion?" spoke a random person, pointing at us. Now, Commander William is usually a calm man, and he was also a pacifist, but he had his limits, and having his battalion referred to as psychopaths essentially ticked him right off. So it was no surprise he slammed his hand onto the table, and he got up, stomped over to the person, and stared right at him with the discipline. "For the record, the name is the Troubled Youth Battalion, and implying my battalion are psychopaths for having justified mental health issues and a mental disability. I ain't gonna give you a good outcome," he said in a disturbingly calm voice, which scared the crap out of us. Of everyone, yes, it even unnerved Jessie. "Calm down, William," Osmond spoke in a calm tone. This caused William to take a deep breath and go back to his seat. I hunched over and began to suckle on my left thumb. Childish and not pleasant visually as it was a de-stress for me, and it helped me calm down. "Katie, get your phone out of your mouth," Frank said with gritted teeth as he suddenly took out my phone. "Once breakfast is over, you may return to your rooms and keep your ears open for a call on new recruits." With that, Osmond concluded his morning announcements, and breakfast went calm after that. We headed back to our room, where we were all situated in the common area on the couches. "So, now what?" Foxy asked, looking at everyone. "Now I'll scold you, Foxy. How many times do I have to tell you, don't go saying that?" Foxy shouted. Commander Williams shouted, slamming his hands into the open palm of the other one. "Anywhere after that," I muttered. I muttered lazily, floating with a bit of my hair that was loose from my ponytail. He sighed and rubbed his temples. "Look, I'll admit it. I don't take too kindly to the folks at the northernmost base, but you don't say stuff like that. You say stuff about how they could stick a flagpole up their asses." Psst. Foxy hissed, turning his head away from the commander. "Who cares? It's true." "Doesn't mean you can blurt out whatever you want," Frank said, to which we all nodded. Foxy didn't say anything. He just harumphed and crossed his legs, pouting all the while like a little child. So technically, the phone rang loud. We all jumped in surprise. "Jesus, Murphy, Joseph," I could hear Jessie say. Commander William walked over to the phone and answered. "Hello? Oh, howdy there. Right, thanks for the reminder. I'll send her down." He hung up and looked at me joyfully. "Yay, come on." "Huh? Why?" "Your canceling appointment. Got a call reminding me." I let out a big, frustrated sigh. "Fuck me," I muttered out as I got up and headed out the door with Commander William. "Frank, if the phone rings again, answer it, please," he said. With that, he and I moseyed down to the therapist's room. "Remind me why I have to go to these appointments again?" I asked. "Katie, you know fully well your mental health is piss poor. You're dealing with a lot of issues mentally," William said sympathetically. I've been dealing with one of them for as long as I've been alive," I say with a shrug. Yeah, but I ain't doing you no favors, and it makes you more likely to fly off the handle emotionally," he said. So, William stopped in front of me. "Katie, you're 33 years old. A young woman like you shouldn't have to deal with stuff like PTSD. I glared daggers at him. You need to realize that wasn't the best thing to say. Says the fucker who's emotionally well off. I shoved past him and stormed down to the therapist's room. Kitey! I could hear him say, but I ignored him. I got there first, so I entered without waiting up on William. But not before changing the sign of the door to say counseling session. Do not disturb unless important. Then I proceeded to slam the door shut and kicked a waste bucket hard that it went flying. What did the door and the waste bucket do to you? I heard a calm yet firm voice. I looked over to see the therapist, Sakura Ugami, sitting on a chair by the couch. She was a tall, muscular woman with long red hair, tan skin, and her face wasn't exactly pretty, but then again, she was a martial artist. High Commander Osmond placed her as the therapist due to her composed nature. Who cares? I spat as I walked over to the couch, taking off my boots and proceeded to snag a bowl of butterscotch candies she had out and started eating them. Katie, what happened on the way down? Sakura asked, knowing well enough to guess. Commander William's a fucking dick, I spat. Katie, you know that isn't true. He does care about you. Oh, really? I sat up hastily and glared at Sakura. If he did actually care, he wouldn't say shit like how I should deal with stuff like PTSD when he is emotionally well off. I threw the bowl to the ground where it shattered, and butterscotch candies and shards of glass scattered about. Now, Katie, Sakura said, I think what he was implying was that you don't deserve to have to endure the mental health issues you go through, like PTSD and such. Intent doesn't mean jack shit, I yelled, slamming my hands onto the table. Who does he think he is, saying what I deserve to go through or whatever? He doesn't even know what I went through. Katie, you were at a level 3 when you came in, Sakura said, raising her arms up to make a motion of calm down. You're practically at a level 4, and you're essentially breaching at level 5. To explain what she's talking about, I have what I call levels of stress. They go from 1 to 5. 1 being calm, and 5 is basically what I am right now. Rage, screaming, and basically being able to reason with. Shut your fucking mouth about the stupid stress levels, I screamed at her. He came out of the great explosion unscathed, and his wife didn't die in it either, so... yeah. My voice started to quiver and break. I could feel the tears coming. Sakura was starting to put the big picture together. But she's not at the base with him. He can still see her and talk to her anytime. And for how long he wants. Sakura nodded, having put 2 and 2 together. I just realized what today was. Essentially, she began, her facial expression adopting a more somber look. Today marks the 10 years since the great explosion. 10 years since I've lost everything I held dear to. I added, tears starting to come out. 10 years ago, it was 2022. I was down in the U.S. for a trip when the great explosion happened. I was trapped under some rubble and debris, screaming and crying out for my dad. And eventually, rescues heard me and began to dig me up. That's when I found out I lost my right hand. And after some time recovering, I met High Commander Osmond and William and joined his battalion. After joining William's battalion, I asked if there was a way to contact my dad, to let him know I'm okay and alive. The people I asked laughed in my face and saying I could pretty well kiss my dad goodbye. I got angry and attacked him. William intervened. He then sat me down and told me a harsh truth. He and Osmond did ask to contact my dad, but the northernmost base, who was in charge of looking things over in the northern part of the U.S. and Canada, turned them down. They repeatedly asked and reasoned that it would give me some closure, but they were still rejected, saying it wasn't worth their time. So here I am. I'm pretty sure my dad and the rest of my family think I'm dead. Remembering all that finally made me break down crying. I lost everything. I can't go back home to Canada. I can't contact my dad and family. Any hopes I had went up in flames. All because of that stupid tragedy. At that moment, I felt someone pull me into their embrace and began to gently stroke my head. I'm so sorry, spoke up a familiar southern drawl. I knew it was William. He's pretty much my dad now. He sort of the team dad of the battalion, but to me, he's the reason I get up in the morning. He knows I view him as my dad. I guess he figured that since I can't be with my own dad anymore, he may as well step in and be a father figure for me. It's stupid, I know. A 33-year-old woman views her battalion commander as her dad, but for me, it feels right. It's all my fault. No, I. There's no way you could have known. I want my dad. I whimpered out. It's been 10 years since I last saw my dad. I've forgotten what he looks like, but I still remember my last words to him. I love you. I know, Katie, I know, William said, rubbing my back. Roughly half an hour went by before I stopped crying and distressed back to a level 2. At that point, me and William headed back to our room. I feel like I got nothing done, I said, breaking the silence after a few minutes. Yeah, but there's gonna be sessions like that, he reassured me. I nodded. We entered the common area for our battalion. Everyone looked up at us. They could tell I wasn't happy. Katie, are you okay? Foxy asked, his ears pinned down low. I shook my head before taking a seat on the couch, with William sitting next to me. It's been 10 years, Blake says, having put 2 and 2 together. Damn, has it been that long? Jessie asked, which Frank nodded. We all sat there in silence before the phone went off. William got up to answer. Hi, Eddie. Yeah, I'm alright. Your office? What did they do this time? Alright, I'm coming, he said, hanging up the phone and turned towards us. Come on, y'all, we gotta go down to the High Commander's office. He turned to leave. Wait, why? Blake asked. The hell we do? If it's about this morning, I'm not apologizing, Foxy said, crossing his arms. Well, why don't we go down and find out? William said, shrugging. So that's what we're doing. Walking down to the office like a bunch of kids who were caught doing something bad. Or at least that's what we thought. The commander knocked on High Commander Osmond's door. Come in, he said. We all entered. If you were to enter his office, the first thing you'll notice was the gears on the floor separated by glass. The walls were faded emerald green, and which was actually appealing to the eyes, and it was mostly empty, save for a few chairs, a couch, and a bookshelf with some books on it. He invited us to sit down, which we complied. I'm sure you're all wondering why you're here, High Commander Osmond asked. If this is about what happened at breakfast, I'm not sorry. Foxy crossed his arms as he said that. But to our surprise, he shook his head. No, I have some news. Corda, the ambassador for the northernmost base, has died. Now, normal reactions would be shock. Not us. Me and Foxy and Jessie let out a big cheer in response, immediately clamming up due to Frank and William's glare. Really? Frank said, rubbing his temples. That bitch is dead. We should be celebrating, Foxy said, before turning to the High Commander. Hey, do you have any special wine? Why, yes, Poor High Commander Osmond face turned red as he clasped his hands over his mouth, and William glared at him. We all giggled at this quietly. After a minute, the High Commander cleared his throat. As I was saying, she was murdered. Any clues on who done it? Jessie asked. Actually, we know the identity, and now normally they would be tried and punished for murder, but since Corda has been failing her duty as ambassador due to her discrimination and her killer had only killed her in self-defense and had not meant to murder her, she will not be punished. Me and Blake shared a look. A girl? I thought to myself. But the whole thing was traumatizing for her, and she has been a victim of severe harassment before. We're relating to this, Oz? William asked, tilting his head to one side. I'm thinking she's best suited for your battalion, but I wanted to let you and the others know, as she is a new recruit. My eyes widened. Our battalion was a little different from others, because we don't get recruits on new recruit day. Hence why the battalion is lacking in numbers. I'm more than willing to take her on, William said with a nod. Excellent. Osmond said with a smile. I will get her ready, and she and I will meet you in the common room. With that, we returned to the common room and waited for High Commander and our new recruit. While William was prepping a bedroom for them, the rest of us were having a chat on what kind of person they were. An hour and a half went by before we heard a knock. Most of us had dozed off, so there was startlement. William came out and opened the door. Took you a bit, he commented as he let Osmond in. Sorry, it just took a little convincing, he said, looking at the person who hadn't entered yet and was hiding a little. Don't be shy, it's all right, he said. And with those words, our new recruit came out of hiding and appeared before us. But the first thing that came to my mind was, this is it? She's the one that killed Cordo? That's the end of chapter 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I enjoyed reading it. Hopefully I can do more in the future. Until then, bye-bye!